My first time in Rumble Studio. As you can see, lights are not on in the studio, none of the normal stuff. I'm kind of testing this out. It was stated in their literature that it will actually do better if we go live if we're using the Rumble Studio software. Now, I can tell you in my first review of it, I think it looks great. Honest to God, the lighting, the clarity of the software, the way it comes across from this side, it looks absolutely amazing. So definitely is a little bit of a game changer when it comes to just presentation. Now, guys, I call this, they are not against them. They are them. And I did that for a reason. I did it for an extremely good reason. Maurice and I talked a bit about this yesterday as well, is that the pro-Palestinian protesters are making it look like they are against Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, when in fact they are in complete agreement with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. The problem on the left is there are a lot of people caught up in movements or swept up in movements, and they don't even realize they're being used. The same people funding the movement are the same people funding the campaign, but yet the people in the middle are completely just unwitting idiots. Let me just put it as nicely as I want to put it that way. They're unwitting idiots. They don't realize that the people that are paying them, and believe me, they're getting paid. Matter of fact, in the day prior to the DNC, there were pallets of bricks dropped off on the street ahead of time before anyone ever showed up. Does this sound familiar? Do you remember the signs, the picket signs that were everywhere, just laid out? It made no sense to me whatsoever that the left just doesn't get it. I don't think they ever will. They don't get it. They're useful idiots. Useful idiots. And along with the group of Republicans for Harris as well. These guys are not Republicans. They're not conservative. They're not in the least bit even American, to be quite honest with you. We never had a political party, in contrast to two political parties that were ever on their surface openly advocating for socialism, belonging to groups that talk about and envision bringing about a socialist America. And if they did belong to such groups, it was hush hush, because they know how the American people would receive such information and their political careers would be over. However, in today's America, that's not true. That's not true. See, they have left our borders open, and they have imported enough people from the Middle East. They start these wars in the Middle East. They get in there. A lot of people getting bombed. People are displaced. The left goes, hey, bring them over here. Why wouldn't they? It's their new voting base. Even though the left does not agree with the things that they do. Muslims don't get abortions. Muslims are not okay with the LGBTQ plus IA, whatever community. They do not carry any of the same values. These are the same people that used to advocate for free speech, and now they advocate for people who don't allow women to drive or talk. They used to at least understand, or we all had this common thing where we believe children were off limits. Children were to be protected at all costs. Now they advocate for mutilating them. You think the Islamic faction of their party is okay with that? They're not. But you know what? They don't care if we destroy ourselves. That's why they vote left. That's why they push the rhetoric that they do, because they know this is how America will fall. America will fall if America destroys itself. There's no other way. No, America's never just going to fall because we're weak or some force from the outside came in and beat us in a war in the air, on the ground, or any other way. We are the biggest bullies on the damn block. That is a fact. Nobody absolutely should ever argue with the fact that we are the biggest bullies on the damn block. So guys, don't ever buy into never buy into the idea that we are going to be defeated by some foreign enemy. The reason that America will fall, if it ever falls, will be because the left has weakened us and empowered the weak-minded and brainwashed with the use of the media, movies, TV, music, newspapers. It doesn't matter what medium. They have infiltrated all of them. Twitter was evidence of that. Do you think Twitter was just evidence of Twitter? Do you think that Elon Musk going in there and exposing all those NGOs and government agencies meeting with Twitter multiple times per week? I think it was upwards of 50 when Matt Taibbi actually got in front of Congress and started testifying and releasing these documents. This is a bigger problem than what you know. How we know? Because they immediately forgot about it. They immediately stopped reporting on it. They immediately stopped talking about it. Immediately. It was news for a second. But if they're doing this at Twitter, what they were doing it at Twitter, they're doing it at Google. They're doing it at NBC. They're doing it at ABC. They're doing it at CBS. They're doing it at Fox too. Don't get it twisted. They're doing it wherever. This is why the thing about Twitter that I love so much, the thing about Truth Social that I love so much, the thing about Rumble that I love so much, is you have patriots in every case that have been outspoken on the First Amendment. And with the exception of Rumble, well, Truth as well. I just think it would be a better, all around, just a better deal if these guys would have kept these companies private. It steers them clear of any future ridden with people trying to do hostile takeovers and own the majority of the stock, which would put them into a position of losing said platform. It's not going to be, well, you'll see in the future. I think that you'll see Truth Social. You'll see other platforms that have IPOs that are being traded on the stock exchange, ripe for the picking. And that is something I think that all of these guys need to consider. I know it's a money thing. I know that you get, sweat equity into something and you build it and you definitely want to profit from it. There's no doubt. And I get it. I get it. Believe me, I get it. But, when you've lived through the things that we lived through, when you've seen the country change to the degree that we've seen it change, we want to protect it. We think there are things more important than money at this point. Freedom is more important than money. The First Amendment, more important than money. Second Amendment, more important than money, and on and on and on. If we don't do something and quick, what are we going to have a republic? Are we going to have a country? And they've already subverted the entire language to get us to consistently say that we are a democracy when in fact we're not. We're not a democracy. And nor should we ever be considered as a democracy. Guys, if people love their country, and like us, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day of the week. And as such, I believe the things that are written in my Bible. 100% of what's written in there, I absolutely believe. So when you hear things like Zelensky has outlawed Christianity in the Ukraine, you think to yourself, why in the hell are we funding this? He's already canceled elections. He's already gotten rid of the free press. Now you can't even worship God. This is the regime that we're supporting in the Ukraine. Guys, we really need to take an inventory. Right? Look into yourself and really do a deep dive into, what do I stand for? What do I believe? And what am I willing to do when said line is crossed? And you have to determine, everyone's line is different. Everyone's line is different. I've sacrificed a lot. Let me tell you, I've spent, I can't even count. My wife could probably count. She's the accountant. Count how much money that I've spent starting up this network, getting the things necessary to make it run, traveling, Donald Trump's campaigns and red pill paloozas and, merchandise and setting up websites. All this stuff is not cheap. And I didn't think twice about it. I didn't think twice about it. There's nothing that anyone could do that would make me want to turn tail and stop the Patriots Prayer Network. We've done so much in the way of actually affecting change in our communities, in all of our prospective communities, and we're all over the country. We're in Idaho, Maryland, Florida, Washington, Texas. We're all over the place. Tennessee as well. And pretty soon in Baltimore and, in Vegas twice over, we're going to start a cooking podcast. And next, after that one, is a sports podcast. I want to give everybody something to watch the Patriots Prayer for. And I'm also looking for something that'll make people laugh, right? Because laughter is just, that's the medicine right there. So we're looking for someone with a little more of a comedic talent and to have on a podcast and give a platform to. If that's you, reach out. We want to talk to you. But guys, we're building something here, and it's a movement, and we're not going to stop that movement. We love our country. We love our God. We love our freedoms. We love our free speech. And we firmly believe it's worth dying for. We'll be right back.
This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryson Gray, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
Soon on the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
America's falling, they all say. Gather the faithful now and pray. The Patriots Prayer. The Patriots Prayer. All the wicks are trimmed, oil is filled to the brim. I have been changing somehow. I'm the radical now. America's falling, they all say. Gather the faithful now and pray. The Patriots Prayer.
So, guys, welcome back to the Patriots Prayer. I want to talk a bit about how the Republicans posture. They they act and say things to make you believe that they are conservative, that they're fighting for you. But really what they're doing is just a lot of complaining, an extreme amount of complaining. We have known for quite some time that Joe Biden has been involved with things that should have gotten him impeached a long time ago. We've seen the media. We've seen countless people come out and say, there's no evidence. There's no evidence. I love the fact that they said there's no evidence, because every time they said that, I knew who wasn't on our team. I knew who was full of it. I knew who was part of it, because every one of them were saying there's no evidence. So whoever said that, you know who they are. You know what I mean? So now we're closing in on the last few days of the Biden presidency, right? I think he's got like 4 or 5 months left, right? So, and now in an exclusive, Rep. Byron Donalds, who I'm a fan of, don't get me wrong, I am a fan of Byron Donalds. He is urging the House GOP leaders to hold a chamber-wide vote on impeaching President Biden days after a highly anticipated report accused the commander-in-chief of committing impeachable offenses. And this is when he goes on to say that I felt for a long time that I'm on the oversight committee. I love the spam calls. It says, I felt for a long time that I'm in the oversight committee and I've seen all of the evidence close up and personal. It is without a doubt that he used his office when he was vice president to enrich his family and pay for play schemes. And this is what Donald said, not Donald Trump, but Byron Donalds said this. He said that is public corruption. And he's referencing the phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky that precipitated the first impeachment of former President Donald Trump. Donalds added, listen, if a phone call is a quote unquote impeachable offense, because that's what the left made it out to be. And I'm going to pause there because I'm going to give a little history on that phone call. A lot of people don't realize what actually took place and why Trump said what he said and who Zelensky was connected to that put him in a little bit of a bind over there with some Ukrainian gangsters. One of them being a guy by the name of Igor Kolomoisky. He owned the Privat Bank, which, Biden had pushed later to have that bank closed and taken over by the Bank of the Ukraine. And the reason why is because that bank sent a lot of money from itself over to the Biden, Biden Inc., the Bidens, in some way, shape, or form, that money was going back to the Bidens. Igor Kolomoisky was, he owned Privat Bank. He also owned something called Burisma Holdings. And Burisma Holdings is actually a holding company that owned Burisma Energy, which, employed Hunter Biden to the tune of like $50,000 per month, even though the guy sitting next to him, right, left, and everywhere else, they weren't making any more than about $70,000, $80,000 a year. But this guy was getting just an amazing amount more than everyone else he sat on that board with. And there were some other people that sat on that board and advised people on that board, like Mitt Romney's chief of staff. This is why Mitt Romney, not a conservative dude at all, not a conservative guy at all. He is an establishment globalist. That's what you got in Mitt Romney. That's exactly what you got in Mitt Romney. And that's the reason Mitt Romney ended up as the presidential nominee against Obama and not Ron Paul. It should have been Ron Paul. If you actually go back and take a look at the delegates and the people who voted for who in the primary and went to cast the deciding votes on who would be the nominee for the Republican Party, you would have been completely in the minority if you think at all that Ron Paul was not more popular and had more votes than Mitt Romney. You'd be a fool, because Romney was completely not the better man in that race. It was Paul. So, Zelensky, now his campaign was also paid for by this guy, Igor Kolomoisky. Believe it or not, his campaign was paid for by the same Ukrainian gangster. So when Donald Trump told him that he wanted to look into him, Zelensky felt a little, oh man, he wants me to look into my buddy, the guy who got me elected, who paid for my campaign. And then this, whistleblower or whatever secretly comes along and says there was a quid pro quo on the phone call, and all of a sudden everyone, jumped the gun and made it seem much worse than what it really was, like a president's not supposed to ask about corruption. Absolutely, a president should ask about corruption. And that's what Donald Trump did. Their overreaction told you that he actually hit a nerve, because he found something that they didn't want him to find, and he was going to look into something they didn't want him to know about. That's what happened. So I, for a very long time, and still to this day, actually believe Zelensky was behind the Trump impeachment. I believe Zelensky was one of the ones who actually gave information to try to make it seem like it was a quid pro quo phone call. I believe he was the whistleblower, or behind the whistleblower doing whatever. But however it was, I believe he was completely involved. Now, referencing the phone call with the Ukrainian president, Zelensky has precipitated the first impeachment of Donald Trump. Donald's at, he says, listen, if a phone call, quote unquote, is an impeachable offense, obviously receiving 16 of 17 payments from Romania, or having Rob Walker LLC move money from communist China into the bank accounts of not just your son, but your brother, but your wife, but your daughter and your grandchild. So, there's a lot of funny stuff going on. So it says House Republicans released a 292-page report on Monday that a joint effort by the House Oversight Committee, House Judiciary Committee, and House Ways and Means Committee, arguing that Biden engaged in impeachable conduct. Duh. Come on, guys. I mean, why are you so late to the game? Why are you doing this right now? Why wasn't this done months ago? Why didn't we go hard then? Is this the October surprise from the right against the left? I mean, you have the evidence. We all know the evidence. I've heard Biden and leaked phone calls admit to these things, admit to having documents that he shouldn't have, admits that. You hear him say, call Barack and Michelle and tell them Operation Crash and Burn is a go, after referencing 5 boxes of documents that he didn't want them to find on a phone call with his son. So, guys, we've had proof beyond proof and stacks of it for a long time. To say that some bombshell report just came out right now. Now they have the evidence now that they didn't have before. That's bullshit. Don't believe it. Don't buy it. We'll never buy it. So Donald's public pressure is significant, while the majority House Republicans have publicly accused Biden of at least acting improperly. It's the acting improperly. This is why I say, dude, grow some balls. This is getting old to see them with gloves off coming after Donald Trump, levying fake charges, fake rape charges, fake fraud charges, fake document charges while he's protected by the PRA. It's ridiculous. And you guys are like, he did some wrong stuff. Little bit of wrong stuff. Not too. It only got $30 million. Only IRS agents came out of the woodwork. Everyone who wanted to testify against him and fly into the country, either in their own prospective countries, end up dead or arrested along the way. Yeah, but it's okay. We have Sammy DeBulgravano saying that he is a Boy Scout compared to Biden. People know how bad this president is. There's no doubt about it. So what's going to come of this impeachment deal? I don't know. Maybe it energizes their base the way they energized our base when they went after Trump, but theirs was baseless. This is actually real. But to do it right now, guys, I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm disappointed. I would love for the Biden presidency to go down in shame, because it belongs in the history books for just a shameful presidency. One where we were sold out, one where we kowtowed to China, flying spy balloons across the entirety of the United States. One where a regime presided over legislation that allowed little kids to get mutilated, that put pornography in the schools, and they stood right alongside anti-Semitic gang rallies across the United States on college campuses. And obviously, right now, what they're doing is they're creating their own opposition, and it's all BS. And I'll say it again. The pro-Palestinian protesters and the Kamala Harris and Tim Walz campaign are on the same page. They're not against each other. They believe the same things for the same reason. They don't like Israel. This is why Tim Walz is connected to so many clerics and imams that were, admonishing October the 7th, and other ones that had back ties to Al-Qaeda. He's lived in China for over a year, speaks the language, and thinks they're wonderful people. And I'm not talking about the Chinese people when I say that. When he said it, he was talking about the government of China. One person's neighborliness, one person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. If you build a 25-foot wall, we'll invest in 30-foot ladder companies. While his wife, in a video clip that we've all seen, smiles ear to ear because she loved the smell of the city burning as they rioted, and she was reveling in the moment. These are the people that are trying to run our country. Stolen valor, lying about your rank, lying about being on the battlefield, shirking your duty. When your platoon went, you got out just in the nick of time to not actually be sent to those battlefields that you tried to claim that you were on. This is ridiculous. And at no other time in history would it be tolerated to have someone lie about their military service and still run for president. This is ridiculous. Guys, this was a quick little edition of the Patriots Prayer. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And I just wanted to go live with the Rumble studio and wanted to get a feel for it and see the presentation and the ease of use of the Rumble studio. And I love it. I'm going to probably be using it more in the future. But yeah, I absolutely love it. The guys at Rumble, hats off to you. The software works like $1 million. And the look in the software, the way that my camera translates to the screen in the presentation, we absolutely love it. Guys, we will be at the Trump rally coming this Saturday. Michaela Montgomery may be speaking, little hint, at that rally. So we're right now I think Maurice is going to be flying in. It's in Vegas. So look forward to that. We're going to be streaming from the event. Also look forward to Michaela Montgomery on Fox News, sitting down with Laura Ingraham in the Fox studios, representing the Patriots Prayer Network on Fox with Laura Ingraham. And she's going to be doing some man on the street interviews with people at the DNC. Guys, look forward to that. Yeah, we just got a lot of stuff going on, guys. There's a lot going on, and the Patriots Prayer Network is growing. We're kicking down doors, and we're not going to stop. We'll see you soon. Tune in to Patriots Confederated right after this podcast. Guys, have a great one.
Trading good for evil.
This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryson Gray, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
Soon on the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
America's falling, they all say. Gather the faithful now and pray. The Patriots Prayer. The Patriots Prayer. All the wicks are trimmed, oil is filled to the brim. I have been changing somehow. I'm the radical now. America's falling, they all say. Gather